Hello everyone. In this chapter we're going to cover making a game in Corona. We have an example project in the final project folder. This is a fully functioning game that we've created for this example. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through in this section how this game functions, and in the next few sections we're going to get into the specifics on how that code works. So this is a very basic game where you have a player object that you can move left and right, and you receive a score based on how close the player is to the line that's moving across the screen. So it's a very simple type of gameplay. It's more or less an avoider type of game where you have to avoid or reach a specific goal point. And once it's over, it gives you a high score, where as you play you can compare your current score to your high score. So let's go through a couple of the elements of this game. The first is the player movement. So this movement structure is using velocity, which means every time you tap in either direction, it adds to the velocity of the movement. It isn't just a click to move. And it loops around. So the moment it reaches the end of one side of the screen, it switches over to the other side of the screen. This allows for a gameplay scenario where it is very difficult to control your player and to keep it in a single spot, but you can set them up to move at a very fluid direction. Next, let's take a look at the line movement. So this level is, at this point, 30 seconds long, and there is a change in the line every second. So you see these circles on the screen is every time the line actually changes. It also has a second at the beginning and a second at the end to give you a little bit of time to prepare your motion and to have a little bit of pause at the end of the game to reflect on your current round. Now, the scoring system, the score is based on how close the line is to the center of your character at any point when it reaches the bottom of this line. So we have an algorithm here that detects where this line is when it reaches this blue line on the bottom, and wherever it is on this X scale, it gives you points based on where you are compared to it. So as you move from place to place, you see where your score is based on this line compared to the player. Next, we're going to look at the game over structure. So there's an actual separate timer for when the game officially ends. So in our code here, we actually have a timer that activates the end of the level upon the completion of this line. So the game over screen is independent from the actual gameplay, and it's triggered after 30 seconds regardless of how you score and how you play. So this is a high score within a period of time. This isn't something where there is necessarily a lose condition. The only goal is to beat your high score. And this end state itself is something that freezes the motion. It prevents anything from occurring. Everything else is locked in place until you actually restart, because this title screen deactivates the game from playing. We have a boolean, a true-false statement, on whether the game is active, and if it is not active, as it isn't here, you have no control over the game. So that's the basics of this game and the gameplay structure. And in the next few sections, we're going to go through the process of creating this game and how this code actually makes this game run.